right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Over a Couple of Drinks presents The Regulars. I am the one true king of Westeros, Bill Henning. With me is my hand of the king, Chris Kraus. We have our special guests tonight, the king beyond the wall, Ben L.B. Griffiths, and the mother of dragons, Jessica Riley. And she froze. This is fantastic. Great start.
And she's gone.
And
she is now frozen.
And she's
she
frozen.
is now frozen.
You had to lift the glass, LB. You had to. We're just going to work.
She's over there. She's trying to free slaves or something for a while, so it'll take her a while.
If the title
she'll do a lot of nothing for a while.
What do we say to Daenerys? Not today. Not Westeros today.
Not today. Why don't you go to Westeros and advance the plot? Maybe later.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get her back in a few minutes here, don't worry.
3 more seasons.
3 more seasons before she actually shows up. So deal with the little spacing things. We're just going to go with it. We don't care. So if the title card was anything, we're talking about Game of Thrones Season 5. What's up?
Season 5.
So the first episode was called What Wars to Come? Question mark?
Think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody remember what happens? Because it was pretty uneventful.
Someone died.
You died, didn't you, LB?
I died.
Did someone die?
Did someone die?
I killed LB, I believe.
Oh yeah, they killed Mance Raider.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. A whole lot of nothing.
It's kind of like, this is where everyone was at the end of the last season. Now here they are.
Yeah.
Now.
It was definitely slow, but in defense, I guess, of that, almost every episode 1, besides the first episode of season 1, have been pretty slow, especially going off how much happens at the end of these respective seasons.
And I'm being biased because, I read the books, and book 4 and 5 start incredibly boring, and nothing happens, and it's painful.
My first reaction after reading book 3 is like, wow, that was intense, but at least there won't be as many point of view characters. You open up book 4, the first 7 chapters are new people, and I'm like, why? Why, George R. R. Martin?
He hates us.
He does, that's why.
In book 1, yes, no. In episode 1, what do we have? We have Tyrion is basically on a Euro trip.
Euro trip with Tyrion and Varys.
Yep.
I'd watch that movie. Yeah.
I would totally watch that movie.
Watch that movie.
They had a nice little conversation back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to comment about that? No? Okay. Good.
Probably that was probably one of the best parts of the episode.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
Was their back and forth, and finally having Varys, I guess, be brought more into the light in terms of the viewers, and showing exactly where he was and where his thinking is, and kind of who has masterminded a lot of the things that have happened, so far. It's fine for that, yeah.
It's the episode where Varys and whatever nefarious or well-intentioned group he belongs to sort of is like, okay, we're done with, the many people who claim to be kings in Westeros, and they're throwing their full weight, or planning on throwing their full weight behind Daenerys.
Yeah, it's sort of like seeing their hand.
Yeah.
Yes. Which was nice. Which was nice to see that finally happen. It's questionable, I think, because Daenerys is definitely trying, but you look at her and you wonder, how good of a ruler is she? She's getting mired down in these politics, which is one of the same issues I have with the books at this point. And she gets mired down in these politics of trying to rule, and she's not necessarily very good at it, which is accurate because she's a foreign person trying to rule in a foreign land, and that doesn't usually go well. But it is interesting, that they are deciding to throw their weight behind her, but they don't really have any other choices. So
yeah. Now, real quick, Jess, are you still there, or did we just lose your picture?
I think she's gone.
I think she's gone. Okay.
We lost her.
Moving on. LB, what's your take on Daenerys as a ruler?
Well, I'm just going to talk about both episodes because we might as well at this point instead of going from one to the other. I mean, it's clear that there's clearly a culture clash where she's trying to bring this rule of law to a land where they're used to basically eye for an eye, and they don't understand justice.
We
There's
hear
an LB ghost in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that was. Jess, are you there? No,
She alive?
she's dead.
The White Walkers, probably.
White
It's probably the
Walkers.
White Walkers.
The Sons of the Harpy.
So yes, in episode 2, you have the Sons of the Harpy, who's killed by the former slave, and then everyone sees that as justice. That to them is what justice is, and of course that upsets Daenerys because she's like, well, that's the law is the law, as she says.
Yeah, she's trying to be fair and just, and like trying not to show favorites. Saying, you know, this person that I freed and has been counseled to me has just broken the law. I will show everybody by killing him, but what it does is upset the masses.
Yes, which, if anyone remembers, was very similar to what Robb Stark did back in season 2. Season 2, was that when he cut off that dude's head? No, that was 3. 3, right? It was in 3.
When he killed Carl Stark.
Yeah. And you know, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I get her, and I get that she's being all like, yeah, I'm to the law, but we know how well that works in this world too, which so far has been really badly, you know.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting choice. You know, it was the honorable choice, maybe, but the smart one, you know, I don't know. So
until Jess gets back, we have Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, Jon Snow, with us today. Say hello, Jon. Still nothing. Thank you so much.
I don't know why we keep inviting him.
I don't know either, but you know what? He's always available.
Yeah, but he just eats all the food and he just doesn't say anything.
Speaking of which, she might be coming back.
Is she back? She's back?
John, why don't you just go pout some more, okay?
That's good. Okay.
Da-da-da.
Yay, we're...
Oh, wait, we heard her. We heard her.
Is
Is she alive?
I went back to the other one. I don't know if you can see me or not.
Yeah, we can see you now.
We can see you now.
We can at least hear you.
Okay.
We can work with that.
Yeah, I figured it was better than not being able to hear you guys and sounding like Down syndrome babies. It was really bad.
Whoa!
We do
We
not.
apologize to any viewers who maybe
All two of them.
Offended.
We're
We're going with it. We don't care.
Oh, oops.
I'm just going to sit here and drink, and that's none of my problem. So Jess, what are your feelings on these 2 episodes and what's her name? Mother of Dragons, Daenerys.
We've been discussing what we think of her as a ruler.
I'm having this issue with that because with this last episode, she basically had to I thought that the Sir Barristan pulling her over and saying hey, by the way, your dad went a little batshit when it came to disciplining people. Maybe you should not get power hungry. And she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill this guy anyways. And I'm kind of wondering where it's going to go because I know that this is going to be one of the storylines where it goes off book. Because and especially with where Tyrion's storyline is going, without spoiling anything, where his storyline is going, it's already proving that it's going to go off book. As a ruler,
or at least ahead of book, you know.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
Is it?
It is. Well,
Well, okay, we'll worry about that later.
It's not spoilers. It's not. I mean, I don't know.
No. We'll worry about it later. I didn't think it was going off book yet. Speaking about going off book, let's go back to Westeros real quick. Let's talk about Brienne and what's his name?
Pate.
Podrick
Payne.
Podrick Payne.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Brienne and Podrick.
Brienne and Podrick.
It's like you don't even watch the show, Bill.
Listen, I was only half paying attention because I'm really not excited for this season. I'm sorry. Podrick and
How can you
Brienne.
not be excited for this
Brienne?
season?
Brienne? Can you say, what was that again?
Brienne?
Brienne.
Brienne of
Yeah, Brienne.
Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
Right.
Brienne.
It's...
Lady Bane.
No. Lady Bane. I mean, she's at least a little bit better than what her arc in the books is, but not by much at this point, because, you know, she has some great moments with her and Jaime. When her and Jaime are together, they're great. And same thing, with her in the books at this point, it was really dull, because you knew what she was going after was pointless.
But
at least in this one, you had her...
I like the pointlessness about it, because that's Westeros. You don't get to complete your quest all the time. Except this is TV show. Here's Sansa. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get off
I
the
like
book
to-
topic. We're not talking book talk, but LB, since you're
Yeah.
fresh and new eyes, what did you think?
I feel bad for her. That's it. I feel worse for Podrick.
Can we replace LB
Make
with
you
Jon
feel
Snow
worse for
again?
Podrick?
I feel bad for her because she's on this fuel quest, but then I feel even worse for Podrick because he's getting dragged into it, and he just wants to obviously stay at that inn with the inn maiden,
Attracted.
the bar,
The
the bar
inmate?
wench, the bar wench.
The bar wench.
The bar wench. The bar wench. She looks like a very friendly bar wench too. So,
Yes,
Mm.
friendly. That's what we call it.
Friendly
Westeros.
ale?
yeah, hell yeah. She she gave that line reading quite well. Ale, she's very happy. No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we obviously know that it's going to be interesting to see what she actually does and how this affects her storyline. It seems like she's probably going to end up going north because it seems like Littlefinger is going to be heading north. So I don't know if that's going to put her on a collision course with Stannis.
Who knows what Littlefinger's doing? Because in the books, he was walking down a mountain. All of book 4.
Yes, the entire book.
The entire book.
Right.
Sansa.
They're already off book with that.
Yep. We're in new territory, people.
Thank you.
We're in new territory. We're diving into book chapter 1 of book 6,
Who knows?
which I don't know if you guys have read that.
No, I wasn't.
Did
I
you
was
read the
gonna-
first chapter?
I haven't.
I was going to hold on to it until that book is,
Oh, it's a good teaser.
Knowing our luck,
But
it'll still take 5
anyways.
years to finish Winds of Winter.
Yeah. I don't want to,
Supposed to do it by next year, but maybe.
He was only supposed to take a year after Dance with Dragons.
Well, then he released the histories.
He was supposed to do a trilogy too. Now he's doing 7.
Let's
so.
rein it
And
back
I
in.
digress.
Reining it back in.
Yeah.
Obi, talk us about what's going on with Cersei,
Obi,
everyone's
talk us.
favorite character in these 2 episodes.
Okay, hold on. Is it just me? I don't mean to interrupt you,
Nope.
but is it just me, or does Cersei look like really pretty in this season? Like they're making her look more pretty? No, maybe.
I mean, I always
She
think
looks very much.
she's always attractive to me. She's been attractive
Right.
since I saw her in
Well,
300.
no, she's a
so-
babe. She's a total babe. She's
I can only see Mama from Dread, and that scares me.
Okay.
Anyways,
So-
LB.
I'll break
Yeah.
down Cersei.
So Cersei, they had the flashback, which is the first flashback in the TV show, from what I understand, where she talked to that the witch who told her, "Your 3 children will wear crowns of gold and then die."
Hug.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's going all nuts and trying to bring her daughter back home because she's with the people of Dorne. Was that it?
Yes.
The
Mhm. Yeah.
the family of the Red Viper.
Ah,
Mhm.
Yeah, who of course met an untimely. Thanks for that, Kraus. An untimely end,
Yeah, no problem.
and
We now know how George R. R. Martin would have written the end of Princess Bride. So
yeah,
with that one, that's what would have happened to Inigo if he had been writing that book. But yeah,
so she's
Um,
going empty nest crazy, and also of course wants Tyrion's head on a table. But
yeah,
yeah, that's all that's going on.
I-
with
I
Cersei.
feel like that prop head was like them trying to get Peter Dinklage's head right and failing, and they're like, "Oh, we'll use that one."
It's
See,
like
to
when
me-
you're making the fake heads for Pimpernel. You just this one doesn't look enough.
one
Like,
doesn't-
throw
yeah,
it back in.
yeah.
It looked to me more like the guy from Jackass.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Maybe
Let's do
it was a
that.
cameo.
I wouldn't put it past them since they did put George W. Bush's head on the spike.
They did do that, didn't they, in season 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So her. I've actually liked the way Lena, what's her name? Lena
Mama.
Cameron. Mama. The way Mama. I just like the way she really portrays Cersei. Even more than I enjoyed Cersei's point of view chapters in the books. I think she brings a humanity to her that was not necessarily there in the books.
She may be a total bitch, but she brings a lot of heart. Is the thing.
Yes.
That you,
A heartful bitch.
Yes.
That's the important part.
that's
Being
the
a heartful
the
bitch.
heartful bitch. That's correct.
So you understand
Yeah.
she's more or less. I mean, she's evil, but she's also a mother looking after her young.
Well,
Yeah.
the,
Exactly.
The one thing I always liked about A Song of Ice and Fire is that there's not really an evil point of view. Everybody has their reasonings, and you get all their sides, and you start to understand why they're doing what they're doing. You might not agree with the methods they're doing it, but you understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
No, Bill, she's pretty much evil.
I mean,
You were told at like 8 or 12 or whatever that you're gonna have 3 kids and they're gonna die.
yeah.
You're gonna do whatever you can to protect them, especially since one already bit the dust.
It's not exactly like her dad was the most loving, caring father from what we
person,
understand. Yeah.
Listen,
So
that man has been killed by arrows, an alien, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's done enough.
He's done enough.
yes, he has done a lot. So yeah, I mean, she's not like Joffrey. She is pretty,
No, yeah.
and I was, I think we're only going to see her get more and more unhinged as the season goes on. Right now, you can see her; she's definitely not as in control as she used to be, which is understandable, going off the death of her son and her father relatively close together. So. And it's going to be interesting to see how that affects for people who haven't read the books, and also even for the people who have. I think that it's going to be different. They're probably,
And
so.
then is it Jeffrey Rush who's playing the Sparrow?
Is it Jeffrey Rush? That'd
I
be
think
great.
so. That sounds
I
right.
need,
Yeah, I mean that's been out for a bit, so that's not too big of a spoiler. I'm just excited to see him at that part. It's not really a spoiler, but you just know he's in it. But you can check IMDb and see it.
yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. And Jess, why don't you tell us what Jamie is doing?
Well, according to this last episode, Jamie's now venturing off to Dorne to bring Marcella back.
And get
Marcellus
the briefcase back from Dorne.
Oh God.
What?
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay.
Does Marcella Lannister look like a bitch?
I don't know. We only got far shots from her.
Well, they changed who she was, so she got
That is true.
Lannistered, as I like to start calling it, because the same thing happened to Tommen. They changed him out.
Oh.
Like
Yeah,
they just
keep
as soon as
switching
people start becoming more important, they switch him out. Dario Naharis, switch him out.
Switch him out. We don't need him.
His ratings weren't high
He was
enough.
already important. They just switched that dude. Yeah. It went from Fabio Naharis to now Dario.
At the beginning of episode 1, when you had that Unsullied who got killed, for the few moments before when he's still alive, I'm like, they recast Grey Worm. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
yeah, I thought they recast Grey Worm too.
That was my worry.
I had that same thought process.
Now, is it just me or does Dahario kind of look like off-brand Bram?
Kind of,
Oh,
yeah.
Brand? That kind of does.
Like a cleaner cut.
Like they're distant brothers. Okay, let's just face it. They're distant brothers.
I do feel like if they met each other, they'd probably have a really good time drinking.
Oh yeah.
If they didn't try to kill each other first.
Oh, they'd try to kill each other and then they'd laugh it off and drink.
And then they'd laugh it off, yeah.
Speaking of which, that's where Jamie went.
Yeah.
He went to go pick up Bran.
Ron.
Braun.
Braun.
Sorry, Braun. Bran can't walk. Braun.
Yeah. Too many clues. Too many similar names in the show.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and you have to understand that I've gone through most of the books in the audiobooks, so the way that person...
Did you have the creepy old man?
Yeah.
Creepy old man's the way to go.
Creepy Old Man is the best way to go. Especially when you go to like the world of Ice and Fire, and it actually like is several creepy old men.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So
Well-
super fun fact Friday.
Super
But
fun fact.
It's not
actually-
actually.
so that's where he's going. Jamie's taking off.
I'm excited to see Braun still be involved because I love that actor.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's back. I'm actually kind of okay with Jamie going to Dorne instead of what he was going to be doing in the book. Basically, they
right now
removed the
can't
key
anyway.
character that
Yeah.
of Jamie's death. Question mark.
What?
No.
Well, we don't know.
We don't
There's
know
no-
yet. It's heavily
What?
implied. We don't.
Kind of.
Totally forgot about that part.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So
Jamie's
Bill's
not
one that
dead.
says don't do book spoilers, and now
Jamie's
he's like
not
dropping
dead.
shit already.
Jamie's not dead.
Bill.
You know, I put.
LB,
Jamie's not
we don't
dead.
know what happened.
Yeah,
we
we
don't.
don't know
At
what
the end of one part of the books, Jamie disappears, and we don't know what happens.
Okay, here's your spoilers for the book. Ready? Here we go. Catelyn Stark's not dead. She's known as Lady Stoneheart. She's kind of a zombie, and she's leading the what was that group called? The guy with lemon cloak.
The Brotherhood Without Banners.
Yeah,
Is
Brotherhood
that it?
Without Banners, and she's trying
Yeah.
to kill everybody who's ever done her wrong. So she convinced Brian to take Jamie in, and that's the end of the episode of the book.
And
Boom.
you know, if you did your like research on that whole thing, like the actresses like Lena was like Instagramming, like she Instagrammed a picture of a Stoneheart and said like this is gonna
Yeah.
be my favorite part of the finale, and then it never
Troll.
showed up. She totally just trolled the internet.
It was
So
awesome.
if
Yeah.
anybody
It
was
was
like,
great.
what does this mean? Well, now you kind of
You
know.
can look it up. And they've said, unless they're just trying to still string us along, but I don't think they are at this
No,
point,
no.
that they're not going to do it. Which I understand, because honestly, aside from being really cool at first, that
What?
character and arc hasn't done anything in the books.
Well, she
Literally nothing.
she shows
Except
up at
So,
the end
kill
of
people.
she shows up at the end of book
but
3.
no one that's important. You know.
Elby's gonna take his
Yeah.
headphones
Okay.
completely.
All right, LB, come back.
Bye, elders.
Come back. You can come
All right,
back.
all right, all right. We're going to talk about my favorite part of this episode, and actually my favorite part of book 4 and 5, which is Arya. And
Yeah.
everything about it is awesome.
And-
who wants to break it down?
I'll do it. I haven't done one yet, I guess.
Yep, go.
But yeah, so Arya shows up in where is it? The name of the country?
House of Black and White.
Pentos.
No, the House of Black and White, but the
Dantos.
name of Dantos. Dantos. There we go. Shows up at Dantos and goes to the House of Black and White. And she shows the one guys the coin that way back when in season 2, Jack and Hagar gave her. And
A
a
man
dude
gave
opens
a
the
girl
door.
a coin.
There you go, man. Give a girl a coin. Shows her, and
Turns
the one
her
dude
away.
is just basically like, get away. So she just kind of chills for a while. You know, we see her being kind of a badass in the city, cuts off the head of a pigeon.
Which was really
with her-
cool to see, like, her kind of, like, we followed her from being, I'm a tomboy in the beginning of season 1, to trying to be a sword dancer, to all these terrible things happening, seeing her actually be quick and fast and deadly, that when the 3, like, thugs came up to her, you're like, oh yeah, she got this,
Yeah.
no problem. You know?
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah.
her as a skilled swordsman kind of now.
Exactly.
She's
You
using
know.
Bravos.
Bravo.
Bravos. Not
Bravos.
Dantos. Yeah, Bravos. Sorry.
This is the worst cast
Ever.
Ever.
We're ignorant.
We're
So many
ignorant.
names, you know. It's like there's so many names and things that sound familiar that I was like,
Kraus,
Anyway.
something's happening with your microphone.
What did you just do to your
Yeah,
microphone?
you're now crystal clear, but really quiet.
am I still quiet?
You're very quiet, but
It's unusual, I know. We're not used
That's
to
weird.
it. But
Can you
Now-
hear me
now
now?
you're good.
yeah.
Okay, I just leaned back a little bit, so apparently I cannot lean back. All right. But anyway,
Now I
so
have to get comfortable.
we can get comfortable. She goes back. She goes back to the House of Black and White. She gets led back because she sees the man that turned her away, and he reveals himself to be Jack and Hagar, which was really cool to see him come back. I was very excited for that. I don't know about you guys, but I was. So.
Yeah, we haven't seen him since season 2.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was actually excited that it was him who
I'm
was
actually curious
If it's him?
Yeah.
if it's him, because of course it's the actor for that, but I don't know if they'll, because of the nature of the House of Black and White, I don't know if they'll keep that actor on. But it was like a good little Easter egg, like at the end of that. So I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, no, that,
Yeah.
Was, that was a super nice touch that I'm for, especially since we don't know what he's doing in the book.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. And well, we don't know, so, and the nature of that training, who they are,
No, it's
since they have no identity.
every the only thing that really got me through 4 and 5 was Tyrion and Arya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
I
Tyrion's
agree.
not in 4, so 4 was real rough to get through.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see this, and they set it up perfectly, and yeah, I kind of enjoyed this episode because of that, even though there was a lot of
I did too, even though it was only probably 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, for them to call it the House of Black and White and only have it for like
It was a
10 minutes.
tease. It was
There
a
is-
tease.
it was a
It was
tease.
to get you to be
They
like,
dangle it in front of
"Urgh."
you, and they're
Urgh.
pulling it away.
It was
Um,
urgh.
I guess who's the only one? John. Is John the only one we haven't covered?
Yeah, John is now the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
John for president.
Thanks to
because-
Sam Wise's speech.
Because we all
Thanks
know
for Sam Wise's speech.
how innocent heart inexperienced people do in blades of power in the Westeros.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be
Um,
awesome.
It is. I'm interested in the power clash with him and Stannis. I really like that so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, no, I like Stannis where he's at. I like everything about it. I really like his daughter and what's the wildling's name?
Gilly.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, I
Those-
like that. That was a nice touch.
That's a nice touch. All these little things that weren't in the book because they're overlooked for grander things. It's nice that they're touching on in the show.
Yeah.
Can I Did you guys notice Sansa's voice changing? Anyone else?
Sansa is a biddy and needs to be put in the ground.
She's a biddy, and I know that's why we're not really talking about her, but like it's still an interesting thing to touch on because I noticed the same thing with Gilly. Her voice changed. I noticed really strange things.
Her voice changed?
Her voice is like she either her face has changed, not in a they recast her, but her looks are changing because I think she's a younger actress.
And they're trying to look
But like you could tell
Well, yeah.
her and
Sansa,
Sansa.
I think she's like, what, like 18 or something? Sansa's like 18 or something now, so yeah. In real
and
life.
all of a sudden her voice got like real deep.
Well, that happened. The Bran was the one I noticed it the most. He's changed a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Because he hit puberty. Yeah.
I'm so sad that he's not in this season.
Wait,
Hodor.
what?
Yeah, Hodor and them are not in this.
Hodor, Bran is not going to be revisited because they're essentially at the point there on the books.
But
Wait,
It's like
he's just not gonna be in the whole season.
yeah, we're probably gonna get some like major like.
He's
ward
training
powers.
off screen with a three-eyed raven.
They compared it to the off-screen time between Luke and Empire and Jedi. So essentially saying when we see Bran again, he is going to be now a Jedi or whatever. Yeah. So he will be a Jedi.
Well, that means if he's a Jedi, we're bringing Disney in, which means Iron Man can show up and properly become the King of the North.
You're right. Now it all makes sense.
Take that, R.R. Martin.
What? We figured that out. Try to kill Tony Stark.
Now, one thing I want to bounce off something you said earlier about it was kind of nice to see like that extra scene with Gilly and Stannis' daughter. But I have noticed because they are trying to stretch out, they start adding some scenes that I'm like, did we really need to see this? Like the one thing it was in episode 1 with Grey Worm and Danny's handmaiden. They're like little romance. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that
and I'm like,
they started this last season, this weird romance that didn't happen in the books. They're like, oh, we better roll with this. Like, they have to beat it just a little bit.
It just feels like time filler.
Homeboy
It
doesn't
feels
have
like
any
they're like,
giblets. Move on.
yeah. Well, it's like they're like, we need to fill something. We need to add something. What are we gonna do? That dude. Let's have him have a romance. Why?
They totally found this Unsullied in like this whorehouse. Why did she go there? Well, I don't know. Like, that's what happened.
That was it.
LB,
and it is.
LB, you were gonna say something. What?
I was gonna say, do we know what this world's definition of a eunuch is? Maybe they have some giblets, but not.
We don't know. Yeah,
giblets.
they questioned that actually, and we don't know.
We won't know what we're doing as giblets from here on out.
I thought that Varys answered that question, but maybe that was.
Well, no, that happened to him, but he's not an Unsullied. He was.
No, but he's a eunuch. They address them both as eunuchs.
Well, but that can mean.
No, they refer to.
We're really. I just want to point out. I just want to stop and reference the fact that we are all discussing the terminology of eunuch right now. I just enjoy that. This is Game of Thrones, people.
Listen, they refer to Varys as a eunuch and the Unsullied as Unsully. There we go.
But we don't.
Thanks,
we
Bill.
don't really know.
Thanks for clearing that up.
I try.
Until someone goes out and asks George R. Martin, I think we probably won't know for sure.
George R. Martin,
the pillars and the.
Please come on our show so we can mispronounce all your names.
All of them.
All of them.
He wrote them.
Okay.
I mean, how does he know what they sound like?
Because he wrote them.
I don't know. Who knows?
What else haven't we talked about that happened?
The dragons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, Drogo came back and was like, "Hey, what up?"
Peace out, homie.
Yeah.
And the other two are like, you ain't my mommy anymore. Peace out. Breathe fire.
Yeah.
Bitch, you locked me in a dungeon.
So we essentially all see them all going through the stages of being a teenager right now.
Right.
All of them. Drogo's like young college teenager. I'm gonna come home, but not for too long. Peace out.
Well,
The other two are
I thought it
like,
was
we
kind
don't
of
like you.
I thought it was kind of interesting because, like, the scene leading up to it, they're talking about how they're all going to stand guard and, like, protect her tonight, and everybody's going to protect her tonight. And then that's when Drogo came back, and he's like, they're like, whoa, what up? But then he's like, no, fuck you, dude. Like, like, bye. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia. That's Drogo, just
Bye,
a caption that turns away. No, I like that. And the CGI, man, I will give them that. The CGI that they do is really damn good on those dragons.
LB, how do you feel about how you train your dragons in Westeros or Essos? You're gonna let it go.
I can't let it go. I don't know. I just kind of feel like the whole arc with Daenerys and her dragons was like building, 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 and
And welcome to why we didn't like book 4 and 5.
All I'm going to say is that the ending of the book better be the ending of the season, and everything will be okay.
Won't be.
no
Yeah.
spoilers, no spoilers.
It's one of the most badass scenes in the book, and I really, really wish it would happen.
It is really cool. But I will say, Olivia, I completely agree with you. One of the reasons I had a huge time getting through books 4 and 5, because Daenerys wasn't in 4, she was only in 5, was because of all this stuff going on. It's just so, it really does, you feel like we're building. Honestly, I felt like the entire series was building towards book 3, and you think we're in the end game. And then all of a sudden, books 4 or 5 is just kind of like, boom.
Well, that's
And
because he decided that he wanted to write more books and keep making money. Clearly.
I don't even know if it's money, because it wasn't like he had the series of them. I think he's fallen a little bit too in love with his world.
You know what? He's allowed to at this point.
He's allowed to. It's kind of a big deal.
He's selling more money. He's getting
As long as he
Selling
doesn't
money.
pull a
He's
wheel-
selling
he's
money
selling
at this
more
point.
money.
All right, he's
He's
selling
selling
money
more
and
money.
making money, and he has more money than God now. Okay, let's just face it.
As long as he doesn't go Wheel of Time. That's all I ask. If he goes Wheel of Time, then I'll be really disappointed.
Listen,
and he's not there yet. But
He's not even to the Dark Tower level. Okay, so we can all pump our brakes. We're okay.
it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
So that was episodes 1 and 2 of Game of Thrones season 5. Overall thoughts. Let's start with the Queen of Dragons, the Mother of Dragons, Jessica. Overall thoughts on seasons 1 and 2. I mean episodes 1 and 2.
Episodes 1 and 2. Episode 2 is absolutely better. I'm really excited to see where Arya is going. And I think that's pretty much the only thing that I'm super excited for at this point. And just to see kind of where Tyrion's going.
Yeah. Hand of the
My
King.
overall thoughts.
Hand of the King kicks for us.
Hand of the King. Right now, I am good build. I'd say good build. Things that I'm possibly looking forward to. Without giving spoilers away, I want to see Peter Dinklage keep acting his ass off and watch him get drunk on his road trip with Varys. I'm looking forward to Peter Dinklage. Yeah. I want to see Jon Snow try politics, see how well he can politic, and. You know what? I will say I'm hoping we get more scenes with Barristan. Barristan's one of my favorite characters in the books. He's a badass. I want to see more of him. So.
And for the Royals left, King Behind the Wall, what are your thoughts?
It's all right. Just waiting for it to pick up.
A man of few words.
I was just going to say that.
And as the one true king of Westeros, I'm going to say that I do like these Daenerys things, because in the books they were a little dry, and it's nice to see people act them out instead of just reading them off of a page, and it brings them certain to life. You get the certain frustration and all that stuff. I like where it's going. Episode 1, it was meh, other than Tyrion. Episode 2, we get Arya, which was great. We get a little bit more Daenerys struggling, which is great. We get the dragons back. That was great. And I always like Jaime. I do weird. Okay, so we're excited to see where this season goes, because as everybody knows from the books, we don't know anymore.
You don't fucking know.
We don't know.
The rules don't matter.
Welcome to Westeros, where the rules don't matter.
The rules don't matter, and your life will be forfeit.
Yes. So we are the regulars, and we'll see you next time with, I think, S.H.I.E.L.D., and then Daredevil, and then Game of Thrones again. So say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I hate all of you.